What's up, YouTube? Big update. I'm going to go at it from the beginning. Radiator is in, somewhat. This is my mock-up radiator. I got another radiator ordered, a nice stainless one. Well, not stainless, but aluminum. Aluminum one and fan kit. I'm going to cut my AN lines to match that radiator, even though it's the same dimensions. But I'm going to wait just in case something's different. Maybe something's off. Got my transmission lines run. I got them run back here to a T. That way I can still move the truck around so I can get it in and out of the trailer. But yes, took it on a first drive this morning. It wasn't nothing crazy. I was being easy on it. I didn't hit the gas or anything like. Well, I did a little bit. I ain't gonna lie. I lit the tires up one time, but I put some miles on it before I lit the tires up because it was about 30 degrees here in Georgia. Well, actually more like 40. It was like 40 degrees this morning, so I went ahead and said, screw it. I'm going to take it for a test drive. Got the water pump all worked up. That has got to be the quietest little thing I've ever heard in my life, and it moves some water. I mean, when that thing, I first turned it on, it pure started shaking the hoses. It was moving water so fast. But got all the air bubbles out, got everything sealed up. Had to end up taking the motor plates off and sealing all that up. I ended up only having RTV, so, well, it ain't a show truck anyway. It's going to be a daily truck. Got these two plugged up. They were leaking. I forgot to do it before I put water in it. My fault. It is what it is. But I got the fender liners back in it. I got them nice and cleaned up and painted up, even though they're not staying. I'm going to actually probably do something different with those eventually. Just do something weird and crazy. Just kind of make it look cool, make it my own. But like I said, test drive went good. Got on it a little bit. It lit up like crazy. Got out of it. No noises, no roaring, no bearings. It sounded good. Drive shaft is fine. It was not shaking or anything. It did pull to the right, but I mean, I just did the whole front suspension, and a tape measure only gets you so far. But other than that, I mean, we getting it put together now. It's in the short rows because I got it. It was fun this morning. I'm not going to lie. It was fun actually driving the truck down the road. It actually did shift through all the gears. I didn't have a problem with that like I've been doing on this gravel. I don't know if the gravel just made it shift weird, or maybe it's because the gravel, every time it was shifted, it would just spin the tire a little bit. That way it didn't feel like a hard shift, because I got out there on the road and it was shifting. It was shifting firm, which is, I know the owner of the transmission, well, original owner of the transmission, he had it built and had a shift kit put in it, and let me tell you, it's got a shift kit in it. And it does pretty good with the stall converter with these gears. It's got a 323 gear in it. Well, actually, it may be a 325. I did 325 gears because I want to be able to get gas mileage with this thing a little bit, because I'm not really going to drag race it that much. I am going to street race it a little bit, but the main thing I want is I want something cool. I want something a little, it's got a little pep if I need it. Because I know there's some friends of mine's been talking shit about it and wanting to race, talking about it being slow. Which I'll be honest with you, it ain't what you thinking it is, but it sure ain't what they're thinking it is. It's pretty quick. It's about like my last one. Right off the bat, we're already to that situation. It doesn't hook that good, so I couldn't tell you whether it hooks I couldn't tell you whether it's as much power as the last one was. Even though these engines come from the factory with about as much power as that truck had. But then again, also saying that, I had all the high stall, I had the real high gears and all that. So I'm not sure what this truck's going to do. But it'll do what I want it to do, be a good little cruiser. And I mean, it may take a Mustang out or two. Just is what it is. Or not. Or it may get, yeah, the thing about it is if it starts getting beat, then we're going to have to put nitrous on it. But, I mean, it is what it is. I started not to say anything about it, but I do plan on putting a blower on this truck eventually. I've kind of made up my mind about it. It's going to be a good little street cruiser. And, I mean, these trucks, you got to admit, it would be cool to see this thing going down the road with a 671 blower sticking out the hood. It would just be awesome. I do got a lot of ignition system work I got to do. It did try to bust up with me a little bit today. I don't know if I'm cutting signal or what really is going on there. I may run a different wire to the distributor, see if that cleans it up. But I mean, when I say busting up, it really wasn't busting up until I tried to give it a little gas. And I think the carburetor's way too rich for the airflow it's pushing. Because I haven't checked the jets. The jets were actually from the factory supposed to be pretty close to what I wanted on this motor. But this carburetor was on the scratch and dent cell at Summit, so it may have different jets in it. Then again, to be honest, I think if I just work with the squirters a little bit on it, the front squirter, I think it'll power valve. There you go, the front power valve. It'll shoot a little less gas or do it a little slower, and I think it'll be all right. That, and I still ain't even got the plugs on this thing. This thing's just got fresh out the factory plugs, and that's probably got a lot to do with why it runs weird. But I have had time, now that it's cooling, I put a fan in the bed of the truck the other day, sat here, let it get all the way up to operating temperature, turned the fan on, and it just dropped like a rock. It really did. So I think with this one, I may be able to safely say I should not have overheating problems. Then again, it was only 50 degrees, so I can't say much about it. But it did pretty good. I still got the transmission leak. Got to get that fixed. That's just excess water that keeps dripping. Well, actually, I may have a leak on that thing again. I don't know. I have to go back and look at it. Yeah, it's dripping out this little top thing up here. I haven't got a catch can for it or anything yet. I wanted to get a nice aluminum one or something, or a stainless steel one, something to look good in the back of the truck. I want to get y'all's opinion. Leave a comment down in the comment section. Should I do a bed cover? Should I cut holes in the bed and put a kind of like a shroud that makes it all the air come through the radiator, and then just be able to dissipate out the back of the truck and do a nice aluminum bed cover, or maybe a soft bed cover? I mean, I'm kind of tossing back and forth between it and that, and I mean, I thought about just taking bed lining this, getting all this painted black or painted the same color as the truck, putting the new radiator and just leaving it like that, just letting it be out to where it's be seen. Because I mean, I also want y'all's opinion on something. When this thing, don't mind the hood being up, when this thing's got the hood down, tell me that ain't a sleeper. Now, it is loud, don't get me wrong. When I crank it up, there's no doubt it's not stock, but it could be. It sounds kind of like a V6. I mean, I had this truck in high school. I cut the exhaust off of it to make it loud. I mean, we were all young and dumb at one point in time, to be honest with you. And it sounded kind of like this. This is just a little bit, got a little bit more meaty sound to it. I like it. But I do plan on still doing the headers eventually. That's going to be probably definitely after the first of the year, because I still got to buy the rest of this stuff for this truck so I can start driving it. But the headers will definitely be after the first of the year, to do in-rail headers. That way I can do full exhaust and really make it a sleeper den. That would be pretty cool, to be able to put a nice exhaust system on it, something quiet, something's got just a little rumble to it. But now I've also thought about taking and sending this truck to Atlanta, where they do the stainless exhaust systems. Yeah, I know it's a crap load of money. But I thought about, because they do headers too, I thought about just sending this truck up there and being like, hey, I want a set of stainless headers. I want a stainless exhaust system. How much is it? Here's your money. Do it. I think that's going to be probably my best bet. I do got a good friend that's a good welder. He was going to help me do the headers, which, to be honest, if I make a mock-up set of headers, they would probably cut me a deal on the other headers so they don't have to do all the mock-up work. But I will end up going with a big set of headers, though. I do want long tubes. I think that's 2.5, 2.25. That's 2.25. Probably 2.25 primary into a 3.5-inch collector, because I want to use these mufflers. Because these mufflers right here, if you put a little pipe in between them, they got a good sound to them. And they're free-flowing. They flow out really well. I mean, if any of y'all on YouTube to see this video, y'all do any kind of work like that, or know a shop that does around the middle Georgia area or Georgia area, let me know. I'm willing to travel with the truck. I'm willing to trailer it, take it somewhere, and let them build me some headers. Because I don't really like all that, especially with me going the route I am and not doing turbos. I think that's just tacky a little bit. Because to be honest, I mean, I could put the radiator in the front if I do that, but I like the radiator in the bed. Because my last S10, you literally had to, at the red light, you had to shut the motor off and leave the water pump running. It would always run a little warmer than I like to run, but then again, the factory said it wasn't a big deal. I mean, I don't like them to run at 210. These old motors, in my opinion, they were 190, 195 at the most, and 180 at the least. Because, I mean, this thing's got a 160 thermostat in it, and it actually didn't take long for that thermostat to kick in. I thought about that. I got to double check, make sure it's in there, because it got warm quick. But then again, this was definitely going to have a thermostat to keep it at operating temperature, make sure it doesn't just sit there and constantly go high, low, high, low, high, low. But now I'm rambling on again. If you made it this far. Oh yeah, last question. I wanna know y'all's answer to this one. Should I put a cow hood on this truck? I want y'all to be 100% honest with me. I want y'all to tell me which one y'all think I should get. 2, 4, 6, or 8. Even though they don't make an 8. Just bear with me for a second. I'm going to drop the hood real quick and just show you what I'm thinking of. Because, I mean, if I do a blower eventually, I'm going to have to cut a hole in the hood anyway, and I'll use stock hood. But I think the whole thing with the stance and everything, I think it looks good with a stock hood. What y'all think? But then again, once it's painted, I may think something different. So I am going to the swap meet in Moultrie next weekend, hopefully. And I'm going to look for me a cow hood. I mean, if I find one cheap, I'll buy one anyway, even if I don't use it. I was thinking about a 4-inch, but I want to go all the way to the windshield with it because I like the way they look whenever they go all the way to the windshield. When they stop right here in the crack, when they stop right about here, they just look funny from the side. They look, at the right angle, they look good, but from all the way from the side like this, they just look funny. But as always, I mean, leave me a comment. I want to know what y'all think about the build. I mean, if you want to get on there and say it's a POS, say it's a POS. I mean, do what you got to do. But, oh yeah, rear end worked really good. Both tires, I didn't have any doubts. Both tires definitely lit up for a second there. No smoke. I didn't want to be crazy. I really didn't want to do what I did, but you know how it is. You get out there on the road for the first time, you get a little happy. You go and see what it can do. But I didn't get in it too much, so hopefully nothing's hurt. But as always, if you made it this far, like and subscribe. Appreciate it, y'all.